Hello, boys and girls. So, this is Mrs. Reyes. So, we're going to be going over a little overview of our next science unit, which is going to be the process and impacts of natural hazards. So, the other thing we talk about is it being hazardous weather. And so, when we start this, we're going to be looking at this very first page where we're kind of just accessing our prior knowledge. So let's see with what you agree with. Now, so here's a picture. It's an obvious flood. You can see a lot of the water coming into an area where there's normally, I'm assuming, sidewalks and streets. I see a building right here where it looks like water is getting into the windows and the doors. And then you can see what looks like to be some homes in the back. So this seems a bit concerning to me. Water is not usually there. And this looks like a place that people probably use for walking and driving. And so you and your friends are here that a flood has occurred in a city close to you. You can begin talking about the impacts of natural hazards such as flooding. So friend one says, there is no way of knowing when a natural hazard will occur. So I don't think there's anything you can do to reduce the damage it causes. Now, friend two says that you can't stop a natural hazard, but if you think that you can't help to reduce the damage, but you can, let's see, I read that wrong. You can't stop a natural hazard, but there are things you can do to help reduce the damage it can cause. And then Francis 3 says that you can stop natural hazards from happening, which will keep any damage from occurring. So, out of these three friends, which one do you agree with the most? So, if you have this page, then you can go ahead and write your statement down. If you're just doing this orally with your class, then you can just do it orally with your class. It's whatever works best for you. So, the next thing we're going to move on into is we're going to move into the next part. And so, into our hook, you're going to be reading a story of the Three Little Pigs. And so when you read that story of the Three Little Pigs, either as you're reading it or after you're reading it, I want you to talk about how the wolf is similar to a natural hazard and in the damage that it can cause. So, what damage did the wolf cause to the homes within the actual story, and what was that impact on the actual pigs? Were they able to stay in their house? Did they have to move? What is your thoughts on that? And if you have somebody near you, can always have a discussion with that. And then the last thing I'm going to bring up is we're going to start an activity this week, and it's called The Tale of Two Houses. So in this particular story, you're going to be getting, or in this activity, you're going to be getting this page, and this is going to be the page you fill out. The other things that you're going to be getting is you're going to be getting a house article, which this you're going to have to read. There's house A and there's house B. So these are two homes that are going to be in the same area where a hurricane hits. This is going to give you information about house A in regards to what kind of house it was, and then what kind of damage house A had after the storm had passed. Same thing with part B or house B. You're going to be getting all the information about the home and then the damage. And then last but not least, the last thing that you have is you have the images. So you're going to take these images as well, and you're going to compare the before and the after of your actual homes. And on that very, very first page is where you're going to record all of your information. So using the article and using the picture, tell me about, well, how did these houses look before the storm? So what information did you read? What years were they built? What kind of windows did they have? What kind of roof did they have? And then when you get through all of that information, were they new? Were they old? Like anything that you can tell me in regards to the actual home. And then in the second part here, I want you to tell me, well, what information did you read or did you see about the homes after the storm actually hit? So you don't have to write in complete sentences. They can just be words. But I'm just looking for some detailed information about how the storm impacted these two houses. And then after you're done writing all of your information out, you have to conclude, well, which home may have been more prepared for the storm and why were they more prepared? What was it about that house that made it more ready for hazardous weather? And can this be something that we utilize in the future all the time? So think about these things. Let me know if you have any questions.